7 of 7 biblical principles. The words that the Spirit will use and testify about are the living word, our Bible. Romans 5:6, why we all need salvation. Verse 6 reads, "For while we were still helpless, at the right time Christ died for the ungodly." Next, we see 3 stages of restoration from our old nature that needs to be dealt with, and each is connected in a peculiar, fitting, and touching way with God's love for our sanctification. We read in Hebrews 12:14, "Pursue peace with all men, and the sanctification without which no one will see the Lord." NASB. The first is the current state of our irreducible complexity as our created helpless human nature has been compromised by Adam's addition of evil, rendering the unredeemed as ungodly for as long as we choose to live in an unforgiven state. We are born under the dictates of our old nature, which comprises a vulnerability to, as well as a propensity toward sin. This static Adamic nature bent on sin, remains at the forefront of our lives unless we are born again. As long as we remain unredeemed, we will be puppets of our inherited old nature. The second stage of redemption is reconciliation, which is the only solution to this dilemma. A natural-born person must be born anew. Who would know this better than Jesus, God's solution to the human dilemma of our moral bankruptcy? We read in John 3:3-7, where Jesus spoke to Nicodemus, a ruler among the Jews, about the human need for salvation. "I assure you, unless someone is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." But how can anyone be born when he is old? Nicodemus asked him. Can he enter his mother's womb a second time and be born? 5 Jesus answered, "I assure you, unless someone is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God." 6 Whatever is born of the flesh is flesh, and whatever is born of the Spirit is spirit. 7 Do not be amazed that I told you that you must be born again. And the third stage of a new birth is assurance. At the right time in God's dispositional plan to separate for himself a people with whom he desires to spend eternity, Christ died for you and me, the ungodly. He saved us while we were still sinners, and undeserving, yet by faith he forgave us, reconciling and giving us the righteousness of Christ so he could adopt us into his family. Therefore, how much more, now that we are his children, will his love preserve us and keep us from falling back, following the former dictates of our old nature? This is one of the greatest promises of Christian assurance. Paul writes of this guarantee in 2 Corinthians 1:22, "He has also sealed us and given us the Spirit as a down payment in our hearts," and in chapter 5:5, "And the one who prepared us for this very purpose is God, who gave us the Spirit as a down payment." HCSB.